You know the story, right? A masked genius in the shadows, a beautiful singer, a tragic love story, all happening inside one of the most stunning buildings on the planet, the Palais Garnier in Paris. We all know the legend, but what if I told you that behind the fiction, there's a reality that's just as startling?
So, let's get right to it. This is the big one, the question that's fascinated people for more than 100 years. To figure it out, we have to peel back the layers of the legend and separate the myth from the actual architectural masterpiece it calls home.
And check this out. This slide lays our whole mystery bare. On one side, you've got the iconic story we all love, the ghost, the chandelier disaster, the whole shebang. But on the other side, the surprising bits of truth that started it all. We're talking rumors of a real ghost, a real and fatal accident with a chandelier part, and unbelievably, a giant hidden water tank. It just proves that at the heart of this incredible story, there's a kernel of truth. Okay, so to unmask our phantom, we've got to explore his home turf. The story just doesn't work without this incredible setting, so that's exactly where our investigation has to begin.
The author, Gaston Leroux, he wasn't just your typical novelist. He was a journalist, a guy who loved digging into mysteries. So when his book came out around 1910, he wasn't just making things up. Nope. He was piecing together real rumors, historical tidbits, and some pretty strange accidents all tied to the Palais Garnier. He became totally convinced that a real opera ghost had to exist.
So Leroux takes all these little pieces, a bit of Gothic romance, a dash of horror, a whole lot of mystery, and weaves them into the story of Eric. He's this brilliant but disfigured guy, the Phantom, who's hiding out in the guts of the opera house. He starts tutoring a young singer, Christine, but his obsession with her kicks off this whole chain of terrifying and really tragic events.
Now let's zoom out and talk about the building itself. Because long before it was the Phantom's personal playground, the Palais Garnier was a huge statement, a symbol of a brand new, modern Paris under Emperor Napoleon III. The style is, well, it's a lot. And that's on purpose. Think of it like a glorious mashup of different historical eras. A little Renaissance here, some Baroque there, all mixed together. But this wasn't just about looking fancy, it was a total power move. Napoleon III wanted his new Paris to just scream wealth and power, and this ridiculously opulent building was meant to be the crown jewel of his empire.
Building this thing was an absolute epic. It took 14 years, and you should pay close attention to that 1873 date on the timeline. A fire tore through the city's old opera house, and a ballerina was killed. This very real tragedy was just fuel for the fire of local legends about curses and ghosts, giving Leroux the perfect sinister backstory for his novel.
Okay, let's head inside. Because the public spaces at the Palais Garnier, they weren't just hallways to get you to your seat. They were part of the whole performance.
The grand staircase is the absolute best example of this. The architect, Garnier, designed it to be a stage in itself. It was basically the 19th century red carpet, a place where all of Parisian high society could flaunt their wealth and fashion. The whole point was to see and be seen before the curtain even went up.
The auditorium itself is just this explosion of red velvet and shimmering gold. But the most surprising part? You have to look up. That super vibrant, modern-looking ceiling was painted by Chagall way later, in 1964. And oh boy, was it controversial. They installed it directly over the original 19th century ceiling, completely covering it up. Talk about a clash of old and new.
All right, here we go. This is where it all comes together, where the legend and the reality smash into each other in the most incredible ways. Let's tackle the story's most famous scenes. So, that chandelier crash, the most iconic scene, it's based on something that really happened. But, and this is a big but, it wasn't the entire 7-ton chandelier that came crashing down. On May 20th, 1896, a single counterweight broke loose, fell through the ceiling, and tragically killed someone in the audience. Leroux took that real, horrifying event and just cranked the drama up to 11 for his story.
Okay, this one has to be fiction, right? I mean, a secret lake under an opera house where a guy in a mask rows a boat? Come on. That's the most unbelievable part of the entire story.
And this is my absolute favorite part, because, believe it or not, it's real. Deep down below the velvet seats in the stage, there is a massive, hidden body of water. The Phantom's Lake isn't magic, it's actually an incredible piece of engineering.
So when Charles Garnier started building this place in 1861, he hit a huge snag. The ground was basically a swamp, and groundwater kept flooding the site. His solution was pure genius. Instead of fighting the water, he decided to work with it. He built a huge, double-lined concrete tank to collect all that groundwater, which not only sealed the foundation, but also helped stabilize the massive weight of the building on top.
And get this, the tank is still there today. It's not open to the public, but staff have actually put fish in it. But here's the wildest part. The Paris Fire Department uses this huge, dark, watery cavern to train their divers for swimming in zero-visibility conditions. The Phantom's Lake is a modern-day training ground. How cool is that?
You see, the Palais Garnier is so much more than just a beautiful old building or the setting for a story. It is still one of the most exciting and vibrant cultural hubs in all of Paris.
The numbers today are just staggering. Every year, over 1 million people walk through those doors just to tour the place, and that's on top of the nearly 350,000 people who come to see the world-class performances. It's just proof that its magic is as strong as ever. And the building's story is still being written, you know? It's a living stage, not a dusty museum. For its 150th anniversary in 2025, the Paris Opera is throwing a huge year-long celebration, with everything from special exhibitions to unique tours. It just proves this legend is still growing.
With everything going on, it's a pretty incredible time to visit. So if you're feeling inspired to go see this masterpiece for yourself, here's a quick guide to help you plan your own adventure into the Phantom's world.
Getting there is super easy. It's right in the heart of Paris. You can explore a lot of it on your own, but trust me, booking a tour is totally worth it. And here's a little pro tip. Always check the official schedule online before you go. The hours can change for things like rehearsals, and you don't want to miss out.
The story of the Palais Garnier really proves that sometimes the truth hidden underneath our most famous landmarks is even more fascinating than the legends they inspire. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing secrets are just buried right beneath the surface, waiting to be found?